Hey everyone, Marine here for Sunny Studio. Today I take you to the park to meet some friends and have fun riding scooters and skateboards. Those cute little guys are from Critters on the Go, and I also picked the words I and Willy, the small bow from Heart Bouquet, the trees and grass from Spring Scenes, the banner from Balloon Rides. I used the balloon from Bear Hugs to create speech bubbles. I picked the words like you from Fall Friends, the banner die from the stitched rectangle die set. I also picked two papers from the Spring Fling paper pack. And to create the interactive element, I used the reveal wheel die set from Lawn Fawn. I started by creating the background, and my card is going to be interactive. So I cut a panel out of Bristol cardstock using the reveal wheel die set by Lawn Fawn, with the arch die taped at the top, and I flipped my panel upside down to have one of the dogs ride his skateboard at the bottom of the scene. Next, I taped the panel to my glass surface using washi tape, and I placed all my stamped and die-cut images to get a more precise idea of the scene. And for once, I thought that it would be nice to keep this part of the process in the video. This is why I like to stamp and cut my images first. This way I can play with them, see how and where I want this one or that one to be. Whenever I create a scene with a lot of images, this is how I always start. And in this particular scene, placing all the images first is going to help me figure out the different sections of the scene. So once I was happy with the placement, I took a pencil and did a few marks on the left side to define the different sections. From the top to the bottom, we have the sky, next some grass, next a path, and finally at the bottom we have riding ramps. And I started with those riding ramps that I created using a heel stencil. I'm making the first one right below the arch window, and the second one will stop below the dog and the bear. And I used the hickory smoke and black soot distressing to make those riding ramps in concrete. To make the path, I covered the riding ramps at the bottom, and I used washi tape at the top to create a horizontal line. And I wanted this path to be like some kind of sand, so I used frayed burlap and gathered twigs distressings to color it. Next, for the grass section, I covered the path at the bottom using washi tape again, and at the top I taped a grass stencil. And I colored this small grass section using shabby shutters and mowed lawn distressings. And the last part of the scene, the sky, I covered the grass section and kept that sky pretty simple, using only tumbled glass and salty ocean distressings. And my background is totally finished. We have all the different sections, so now let's move on to the interactive part. Off screen I cut the wheel and colored it using the same distressings as the one I used to make the concrete riding rams, hickory smoke and black soot. And this wheel will go behind the panel just like so. But I wanted the scalloped edges of the wheel to be white, so I picked a circle die from my stash and I taped it right in the center of the wheel in order to cut the scalloped edges off. I also cut another wheel out of white cardstock and I simply glued the gray circle in the middle of this white wheel. And this is how it will look, very nice. Next, everything is ready to be assembled. We have the background panel, the wheel, a small circle, a mini brad, and a yellow panel that I cut using the same die I used at the beginning, but I just removed the arch die to get a plain panel. So I put the brad into the wheel through the hole in the center, and then into the small circle, and I opened the brad to keep both pieces together. I flipped the wheel over and I added foam squares on the small circle. I peeled the backing papers off and placed the wheel behind the panel. And to know where to place the wheel, here I'm just playing with it. We don't want the white part of the wheel to show on the arch section, and we don't want the gray part to show on the left side. I kept the panel and the wheel together and I placed my panel on top of the yellow panel. I pressed firmly to stick only the wheel to the yellow panel. I also added a bunch of foam squares on this yellow panel all around the wheel, and then I attached my background panel. And before moving on to the coloring, I cut another panel out of a yellow pattern paper and I attached my interactive panel on top of it. So, and next I colored all the images using my graphite brush markers and Spectrum Noir markers. Once the coloring was done, I taped my panel to my glass surface just to be able to stick everything more easily. And I started with the row of trees at the top using foam squares. The last final steps, I cut a 5.5 by 4.25 inches panel out of a rainbow polka dot paper. I stuck this panel on a light blue card base, and then I attached my interactive panel on top of it using strong double-sided tape. And I also white heat embossed my sentiment, "I really like you," on a pink banner that I attached at the top of the panel right above the trees. And to tell the recipient of the card what to do, I cut 2 small black arrows. I attached one of them on the left side next to the scalloped wheel. And I cut the pointy end of the second arrow and stuck that tiny piece below the first arrow to get an arrow with 2 pointy ends. And that's it! This adorable and fun little scene at the park is done. Those critters on the go are just super cute. I really love how the whole scene turned out, and I hope that you like it too. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back next week with a new Sunny Studio project. Have a very nice day. Bye!